This is a full story. Kitten wishes you all a happy and enjoyable story. As the wedding day approached, my fiancé accidentally sent a message. I'm so fed up. What should I do if I don't want to get married anymore? Every day I spend with him feels like torture. It's just too painful. He's out setting up the wedding venue right now. What should I do? How can I get him to break up with me before the wedding? At that moment, I was fully immersed in planning the wedding scene. The notifications kept ringing, but my heart was sinking. Was this a prank? After a while, she saw I hadn't replied and casually sent a voice message. Sheen, why aren't you replying? The girl's voice was soft and sweet, but with a slight feisty tone. It was unmistakable. Serena's voice. The woman I was about to marry. And Sheen was her best friend Mary. Maybe because I didn't reply for too long. Or maybe Serena realized she sent it to the wrong person. She began frantically recalling the messages. While I stood stunned, the wedding planner beside me spoke up. Mr. Rocky, which kind of floral arrangement would you like for the tables? I looked at the hurriedly withdrawn messages on my phone, rubbed my temples gently, and said, sorry, let's pause the planning for today. On the way home, I leaned back in the seat resting my eyes. Yet memories of my first encounter with Serena flooded my mind. 5 years ago during freshman orientation, I was invited as an honored alumnus and entrepreneur to give a speech. Serena was performing in the welcome ceremony. On stage, she looked like a proud and elegant swan, but backstage, she was quietly sobbing. When I noticed, she looked embarrassed and a bit annoyed. What are you looking at? Is there anything I can help with? I asked politely, keeping a respectful distance, already prepared to be rejected. But to my surprise, she said, my foot is hurt. Can you take me to the infirmary? Her ears turned slightly red, her tone a bit awkward. All right. I bent down slightly, picked her up from the stool. She gasped softly in surprise, then wrapped her arms around me. Glitch. Predictable. Yet she was so breathtakingly beautiful. The moment took on a hazy romance. By the time I got home, it was already 7 p.m. Serena was lying on the sofa playing video games. When she heard the door, she glanced over, with a trace of unease in her expression. Did you see the message I sent you today? I paused under her gaze, then replied, sorry, I was too busy today. She turned back, as if letting out a breath of relief, then scoffed lightly. You got back so late. I haven't even eaten dinner. I loosened my tie slightly, rubbed my aching temples. Serena, I'm really tired today. Can we just order food or have the maid come cook? Because Serena wasn't comfortable having others in the house. We only arranged for the maid to clean periodically, and Serena was a disaster in the kitchen, so the daily cooking at home was always up to me. From knowing nothing about food to being able to prepare a full table of dishes, it took me 5 years. Oh, fine then. You go rest. I won't eat. Her voice came cold and impatient from the sofa. I knew this was a sign she was angry. Before, I would have gone over to comfort her, but I wasn't feeling well today, and after seeing her misdirected messages, I just nodded and headed to the bedroom to rest. Bang! Something slammed to the floor behind me. I paused, but didn't look back, lying in bed, my head spinning. Just as I was drifting off, I heard laughter like silver bells from outside the door. I frowned, got up, and stepped out. Serena, I'm trying to rest. Can you keep it down? Before Serena could answer, a man's voice came from her phone. Sorry, sis. I disturbed your boyfriend's rest and made you get scolded. It's all my fault. It's not your fault. I was in a bad mood. You played games with me to cheer me up. I should be thanking you. Forget about today. I'll hang up now. Let's play again tomorrow. Standing there, watching this scene, I couldn't help but feel mocked and absurd. My girlfriend, right in front of me, was comforting another man, like nothing was wrong. Then Serena, after hanging up, faced me with a cold look. Rocky, I just played a game with someone. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? Can't you see I'm in a bad mood? You came home with that face. Who are you trying to intimidate? What's the point? By the sofa. Serena went on, but her words felt like she was trying too hard to hide something. At that moment, I suddenly felt it was all pointless. So I did exactly what I felt. I cut her off, calmly saying, this is pointless. Let's break up. Serena froze for a moment, then said in disbelief, what did you say? We're breaking up. You think it's that easy? The engagement party is all set. The invitations have been sent. Our families and friends all know. How am I supposed to explain it to them now? I stood in the shadows, my expression unreadable, thinking, so that's why she never brought up breaking up. Emotional manipulation. Truly ridiculous. People talk about the 7-year itch, yet we didn't even last 5 years. This relationship was already doomed. I'll explain it to them. You can say it was my fault. This was the last bit of dignity I could offer her in this relationship. Rocky, don't regret this. Her expression was laced with anger, but I didn't miss the flicker of delight in her eyes. I nodded slightly, then looked at the dark night outside. It's too late tonight. You can pack your things and leave tomorrow. Serena looked up at me, her delicate features slightly distorted by anger. No need. I'll move out right now. I didn't understand why she suddenly got angry again, but I didn't ask much either. I just asked calmly, there might be a lot to carry. Do you need me to call someone to help? I can do it myself. Don't bother. Rejected again and again. Combined with my dizziness, I didn't linger in the living room. I just took my medicine and went to bed. I slept deeply last night. When I woke up the next morning, Serena had already moved all her things out. I stared at the now half-empty room, dazed for a moment, then quietly walked into the kitchen. After all, wasn't this all something I should have seen coming? I saw Serena again 3 months later. In those 3 months, I had told everyone around me that Serena and I had broken up, and I had called off the wedding. Some people felt regret and sighed, while others were indignant on my behalf. You two were already talking about marriage, and then this happened. Life is really unpredictable. That little drama queen Serena. Only you, Rocky, could put up with her. She was treated like a princess by you. Just having to report in 247 would drive me nuts, let alone. I chuckled and cut them off. Is it your breakup or mine? It's all in the past now. Don't talk about her behind her back. Even my usually chill parents called me. Rocky, you're almost 30 now. As your parents were still worried about your future. Since falling in love freely didn't work out, let's go with tradition. We've arranged a blind date for you. Go meet the girl in a few days. I rubbed my temples. Mom, I just broke up a few months ago. I'm not planning to date or marry anyone right now. Our two families already agreed. Just remember to go on time. By the way, her name is Haley. I sighed helplessly, but still went to the date. To my surprise, Haley and I had a great conversation, and she turned out to be a college classmate from my year. When Haley and I finished dinner, the sun was already setting. The air was cool, seeing her in a long dress. I asked if she was cold and gently draped my jacket over her shoulders. And that's when Serena appeared. Rocky, what's your relationship with her? Serena walked up quickly, her face slightly tense, raising her voice with a hint of interrogation. She stared at Haley, eyes full of displeasure and barely hidden anger. I instinctively stepped in front of Haley and said with an apologetic smile, "Sorry, Miss Haley. I have something to take care of. Shall I have the driver take you home first?" I didn't want Haley involved in my messy past with Serena. After all, we were just having dinner out of our parents' wishes. She had no obligation to get dragged into this drama. Haley nodded, glanced at Serena, then smiled and said, "Mr. Rocky, it was a pleasure spending time with you today. I look forward to seeing you again." With that, she turned and left with the driver. "Rocky, how long has it even been since we broke up? And you've already found someone new?" Her sarcasm left me a bit exhausted. My eyes drifted to Serena and the man next to her. I asked, confused, "I saw the message you sent by mistake. Haven't you always wanted to break up? I just gave you what you wanted." Before I could finish, Serena interrupted me, her voice tinged with a bit of pride. "Rocky, if you're using another woman to get back at me for breaking up with you, then congrats. You've succeeded." Of course, during our time apart, I did some self-reflection too. We've been together for 5 years. It's normal to lose the spark, but since you still love me, I'll give us another chance. Seeing the condescending look on her face, I suddenly found it funny. Why did she think I would stay in place, waiting for her? I stopped smiling and turned cold. First of all, we've been broken up for 3 months. We are now strangers, with nothing to do with each other. Why would you assume I'd been waiting for you? Second, getting into a relationship just to spite you would be an insult to myself and disrespectful to someone else. Lastly, what I want to say is, we're done, and there's no going back. I thought I had made myself clear, but Serena just looked at me, then sneered. "Rocky, don't regret this." After that day, Serena began frequently posting pictures on her social media with her new boyfriend and their dates. According to her posts, it was a junior who had been chasing her for a long time. I looked at her smiling face on my phone, and memories I had locked away began to resurface. From the first moment I met Serena, I knew she was bold and willful. If she wanted something, she had to have it. If she was unhappy, she had to vent. Even when pursuing someone, she did it with a sense of inevitability. After the welcome ceremony, she asked for my contact info. Later, during our freshman break, she came to intern at the company where I worked. Like many before her, she tried to use that opportunity to get closer, to gain a special connection. She was like a not-so-skilled hunter, bold intentions, naive honesty, and not-so-subtle attempts to attract attention. It was a lazy summer. The cicadas chirped endlessly. The girl smiled with a glint of mischief in her eyes. "Senior, you've fallen for me, haven't you?" Her eyes sparkled, looking straight at me without flinching, with a mix of hope and the kind of spoiled willfulness that comes from being indulged. There wasn't a trace of guilt. I remembered her bold declaration from before. I bet you're just an ordinary guy. I bet you'll fall for me. The air was warm and soft, sunlight streaming through. I looked at the girl clinging to my arm, her sly smile so close, and I suddenly wished time would slow down. Let this moment stretch longer and longer until it reached the edge of time. So I nodded and smiled honestly. Yes, I'm just an ordinary guy. Her soft lips touched mine. I saw her closed eyes so close, gently wrapped my arms around her waist, stepped forward, and kissed her back. The wind around us stirred again, whirling through the world, and fragrant flowers rained down from above, falling all around us. I had always believed that moment would last forever, but I underestimated how feelings fade when novelty is gone. My finger paused on her contact, and then I deleted every way I had to reach her. After meeting Haley, she would occasionally ask me out for meals or entertainment. I knew this wasn't just our parents' arrangement. It was also Haley's will. After all, she was the sole heir to the H Corporation. But to establish her position, she needed solid support. A partnership between the H Corporation and the R Corporation was one of those supports. And marriage was the simplest and most effective way to secure that partnership. Unlike Serena's capricious charm, Haley was more like a glamorous rose, dazzling and radiant, yet covered in thorns. What I didn't expect was to run into Serena. When I went shopping for mid-autumn gifts with Haley, I was sitting in the lounge, waiting for Haley to change. When the store door opened, Serena walked into view, with her new boyfriend by her side. She clung to the man's arm, speaking in a coy, sweet voice, looking utterly affectionate. I turned my gaze away, feeling little ripple in my heart. Perhaps those vows of eternal love had already been buried under countless arguments. Rocky, a lazy female voice sounded behind me. Does it look good? I turned my head. Haley lowered her eyes slightly, a soft curve at her lips. She wore a black velvet camisole dress, her fair skin glowing under the chandelier. With black hair and red lips, she looked stunning beyond words. I was momentarily dazed, then quickly came back to myself. You look beautiful, I said seriously. Haley raised her eyebrows slightly, smiling teasingly. Good taste. Just as I was about to go pay, Serena walked over. After glancing Haley up and down with a complex look, she turned to me and said, Rocky, is this your new girlfriend? I walked to Haley's side, looked calmly at Serena, and said, that has nothing to do with you. Serena seemed flustered for a moment, as if something was slipping from her grasp. This is my boyfriend, Tony. She held the man's hand, her eyes fixed on me, trying to read something from my expression, but I disappointed her. I didn't respond, just leaned toward Haley and asked softly, Tired, let's go. What about your little girlfriend? Oops, sorry, your ex-girlfriend. Haley glanced at Serena's darkening face and smiled lightly. I sighed helplessly. Why hadn't I noticed Haley had such a wicked sense of humor before? I picked up the boxed gift. Our parents are still waiting. Yes, tonight the H Corporation and the R Corporation were having dinner together to discuss their collaboration. Serena might have misunderstood. Her eyes turned red. You're taking her to meet your parents. I didn't want to argue further. I simply replied, yes. With that, I turned to leave, but Serena's voice rang out again, sharp and insistent. Rocky, are you going to marry her? Why? How can you move on so quickly? I didn't answer, but a wave of fatigue and irritation surged in my chest. She was the one who wanted to break up. Now that she got what she wanted, why was she still causing a scene? The respect and obedience I gave her over our 5-year relationship didn't mean I would endlessly tolerate her whims, let her dictate everything. Even after breaking up, I was not some loyal dog she could summon at will. Serena, this is the last time I'll say this. We're over. Stop interfering in my life. If it happens again, I won't be so polite. Serena stared at me, shocked that I would speak to her like that. After all, I had never said a harsh word to her when we were together. Rocky, I don't have to be with you either, she shouted hysterically, yet with a tremble of fear in her voice that even she might not have realized. I no longer paid attention to her. Carrying the gift box, I walked out with Haley. Sorry for the drama, I said, rubbing my temples with a headache, trying to explain to Haley. It's fine. I just didn't expect President Rocky to have such charm. Even your ex hasn't gotten over you. Is that so? Maybe she's just unwilling to accept it. Unwilling that I no longer catered to her every wish. Unwilling that I let go so quickly. Unwilling that I was stepping into a new chapter. That's not the important part. The most important thing tonight is our family dinner, Miss Haley. I looked at Haley, raising an eyebrow playfully. Our parents had long tried to pair us up. I had no choice but to act as Haley's boyfriend. But tonight's dinner might be a trap. What's there to be afraid of? Worst case, President Rocky and I make this fake relationship real. I'm so pretty, Al. Are you afraid of losing out? Haley winked at me jokingly, looking at the vibrant, confident woman in front of me. I couldn't help but smile. Of course not. Sometimes a loss can be a blessing. In the crowded room, an unspoken emotion seemed to rise in my heart. When we arrived, our parents were already seated. So this is Haley. What a beautiful young lady. My mother warmly held Haley's hand, guiding her to sit. I glanced at Haley with concern, worried she might not handle the occasion. But to my surprise, she moved gracefully among the parents, making them laugh with ease. I shook my head with a smile, then instinctively cut the steak and placed it neatly in front of Haley. When I looked up, I found several pairs of eyes watching me. Haley's mother smiled and praised softly. Rocky is so thoughtful, a truly caring young man. Haley held her mother's arm, smiling with her head slightly tilted. I agree. Looking at the warmth around the dinner table, an unfamiliar emotion welled up in my chest, but disappeared as quickly as it came. It was already midnight when I returned home after dinner. Just as I was about to unlock the door, I stopped abruptly at the sight of a shadow crouching by the entrance. Did you leave something here? I looked at Serena by the door, frowning as I asked. I wasn't sure if she really left anything behind, because the day after she moved out, the housekeeper had already come to clean up. Anything unnecessary should have been cleared out by then. I let out a faint laugh. Sometimes even fate makes the decision for you. Why are you coming back so late? Serena looked up at me with a dim gaze. I felt a wave of irritation. We've already broken up. You have a boyfriend now. Why are you still clinging on? You weren't like this before. You never talked to me this harshly. What changed? Soft broken sobs came from her. If this had been before, I would have panicked, scrambling to comfort her. But now my heart remained untouched. Call your boyfriend. Tell him to come pick you up. Tony's not my boyfriend. I only brought him to make you jealous. Rocky, can we get back together? I won't act out anymore. I won't bring up breaking up ever again, I promise. Serena looked up at me, grabbing the edge of my shirt, tears pouring uncontrollably. I gently pulled my sleeve away, my voice calm and distant. Serena, you don't truly want to get back together. You're just not used to it. Not used to no one doting on you. Not used to having no one arrange everything for you. You realize that after leaving me, your life turned into a mess. That's not true. It's not like that. I've been learning to cook, learning to live on my own. I've been planning our future. I really have been trying. She stared at me, eyes swollen red from crying. But why didn't you wait for me? Why are you with someone else? I sighed helpless. Serena, no one will wait in the same place forever. And if someone does, it's only because they can't let go. I opened the door and walked inside. Before closing it, I looked at Serena, still standing there, her expression unreadable. This is the last time. Don't come back and disturb my life again. Since that night, I didn't hear anything about Serena for a long time. Just when I finally let my guard down, thinking she had given up, something unexpected happened. A story based on the two of us suddenly went viral online. She posted about how we met, how we grew close, how we fell in love. She wrote, he would cross half the city just to take me on a helicopter ride to watch fireworks when I was feeling down, because I couldn't stand takeout. He spent 5 years learning to cook different cuisines. He tolerated all my moods, accepted all my flaws. He was the source of all my confidence. And the comments online were full of admiration and blessings. When will I get a sweet relationship like this? You two better stay together forever, or I'll stop believing in love. Watching fireworks from a helicopter. So this is how rich people date. Then she posted another update just recently. We broke up. He's getting married. Their families match perfectly. That one sentence sent her followers into an uproar. The couple I rooted for is over. What kind of era is this? Still talking about matching family backgrounds. This guy must be messed up. If you care about social status so much, why date her in the first place? Was she just your trial run? A fling during your single phase? And the girl who came between them? She's a spoiled rich brat. Seriously, her posts might have only caused a small ripple on their own. But a few popular bloggers reposted her videos, adding comments like, rich people's entertainment, in love with his first girlfriend for 5 years, but ditches her before marriage to pursue someone with a matching background. The online discussion exploded. The topic, does social status really matter in relationships, quickly went viral. Personal information about Haley and me was dug up. I looked at everything flooding the internet. My face darkened, just as my secretary was updating me on the public backlash against me and the company. Serena called using someone else's phone. Rocky, I didn't mean for any of this to happen. It was Shinshin who convinced me to start posting. I never expected things to blow up like this. Her voice was choked coming through the phone. I pressed my temples, my tone cold. Whether you did it on purpose or not, only you know. But the damage you've caused to me, to Haley, and to the company has already been done. I know, but if you agree to get back together with me, I'll explain everything online. You know how irrational internet users can be. Everything I've done, I did it for you, Rocky. I can't lose you. Everything before was my fault. Can't we try again? Listening to her voice from the other end, I felt a moment of daze. I still remember. It was our 1-year anniversary. Serena once took me to a small little-known mountain. She told me it was her secret base. That night the stars were bright, but they still couldn't compare to the brilliance in her eyes. She pulled out a ring and handed it to me. Rocky, I bought this with the money I earned from part-time jobs these past few months. Put it on, and you're mine now. The girl in front of me was radiant and bold, her eyes filled with dreams for the future. I carefully took the ring, my voice hoarse. Okay. The wind that night was gentle. Serena leaned on my shoulder, talking excitedly about the future. Rocky, what if we break up someday? Before I could respond, she quickly spat 3 times. Impossible. We will never break up. I couldn't help but laugh, looking at her puffed cheeks. Teasing. So sure about that. Serena pretended to punch me, grumbling. Of course, if someone brings up a breakup, it definitely won't be me. After all, I worked so hard to get you. The mountain wind swept by, and my laughter echoed. All right, then let's always be together. But only 5 years later, just 5 years, everything changed. Rocky, you still love me, right? Let's get back together. I listened to that familiar yet distant voice, snapped back to reality, and replied word by word. I don't love you anymore. You were the one who let go first. I already warned you last time. Don't come back into my life again. You've lost your chance, Serena. I hung up the phone. The beautiful girl in my memory was now hidden behind a sharp, distorted mask. She was no longer who she used to be. Meanwhile, Haley messaged me, Mr. Rocky, your ex-girlfriend really doesn't know how to behave. Attached were screenshots of Serena's taunting messages. After adding her on WeChat, and the fact that Serena had been following her for 3 days, I typed calmly, keep the evidence, call the police. After all, the internet isn't beyond the law. Those who spread falsehoods should pay the price. Serena probably never imagined that Haley and I would choose to go to the police. At the police station, Serena sat with her head bowed, her long dark hair messy, hiding her expression. This woman, Serena, has been following me constantly, disrupting my life, and seriously harassing me. She even sent me threatening messages. Haley placed the backed-up chat logs on the table. Not only that, Serena spread lies online about me and my boyfriend, insulted and defamed us, and misled the public to incite online abuse. I demand that Miss Serena issue a public apology. Rocky isn't your boyfriend. He's mine. You stole him from me. Serena suddenly stood up shouting. I instinctively stepped in front of Haley. Serena looked stunned, her eyes red, pleading. Rocky, say something. Is she lying? I looked at her, my face cold. Miss Serena, we broke up about 6 months ago. Your actions have seriously threatened me and my girlfriend. I hope you will publicly apologize. A single tear dropped from Serena's hollow eyes. She covered her face with both hands and crouched down, her back shaking violently, sobbing uncontrollably. After giving our statements, Haley and I walked out of the police station, hearing the cries behind the door. A wave of indescribable emotion surged in my chest. 5 years ago, we were inseparable, madly in love. 5 years later, everything had changed. The mood grew heavy without warning. Haley glanced at me, raising her brows playfully. I'm just an innocent bystander. President Rocky, you owe me a meal to make up for it. You've been so quiet. Don't tell me you're hesitating. In an instant, the gloom vanished. I couldn't help but chuckle, shaking my car keys. All right then, let's treat Miss Haley to a feast. Soon Serena was punished. 10 days of detention and a fine for fabricating lies and slandering others. She was also required to publicly apologize online. Meanwhile, I released an official statement and took legal action against the most aggressive influencers for spreading false information. With both actions in place, public opinion quickly shifted. I knew there'd be a twist. Good thing I didn't join the hate train. She got what she deserved. Her actions matched her downfall. Seriously though, isn't this girl terrifying? If she can't have it, she'll destroy it. If someone did that to me, I'd go insane. Exactly. She's disgusting. Inciting online mobs. She belongs in jail, dragging innocent people into this. Can't someone move on and date freely after a breakup? At least the new couple shares values and standards. I support them. I love seeing equally matched relationships. That girl boss is so cool. When online voices turned overwhelmingly one-sided, Haley bought a yacht and invited me on a sea cruise to unwind. There were dozens of people aboard, all friends from the industry. The deck of the yacht was covered in polished wooden planks. I stood there with a wine glass in hand, watching the brilliant blue sea and the glowing sunset. "Why did you come out here?" A languid, tender female voice drifted from behind me. I tilted my head slightly, looking back to see Haley walking over with a glass in hand. I took a small sip of wine. It was a bit stuffy inside. I came out for some air. "My dad just messaged me. He has nothing but praise for you." At the height of the public backlash, launching products from our joint companies, we used the buzz to open up the market. Sales are at an all-time high. I curved my lips faintly, but said nothing. Haley looked at the sunset, then sighed softly. Flowers bloom toward the sun, and people always move forward. I turned to glance at the slight nervousness on her face, her subtle effort to comfort, and suddenly burst into laughter. "What are you laughing at?" Haley's ears flushed pink, clearly a little flustered. "I let it go a long time ago." I looked at her, speaking slowly and clearly. "I'm not heartless, but I'm also not the type to cling to the past, especially not to love that turns stale after a breakup. As long as you figured it out." Haley brushed her hair, clearly a bit embarrassed. She paused, just as she was about to say something else. "Watch out." Suddenly, a large wave crashed against the yacht. It rocked violently, and Haley stumbled forward from the impact. Instinctively, I caught her in my arms, the warmth on my shoulder lingering. My heart skipped a beat, then pounded uncontrollably. As the sea calmed, Haley pulled back from my embrace, a faint flush on her face hinting at her inner turmoil. "It's okay now, Haley," I said gently. She looked up at me, a strange glint in her eyes, as if throwing caution to the wind. She leaned up and brushed her lips to mine. It was just a light touch, but it stunned me momentarily. Then something inside snapped open. The kisses rained down in fragments, gentle pecks giving way to a deeper entanglement, a foreign tide drowning my senses. At last, our lips parted. Haley breathed softly, staring into my eyes with a teasing smile. "Is this turning into the real thing?" My hands were still around her waist, but my feelings are real. The sea breeze stirred gently. Ripples shimmered across the ocean. In that vast space, I heard Haley whisper, "What a coincidence. So are mine." After the short trip, Haley and I started planning our engagement and wedding. But I never expected Serena would find me the moment she got out of detention. "Rocky, can we talk?" She stood by my car, pleading. "Sorry, I'm busy." I motioned for the driver to go, but Serena blocked the car. "I won't bother you much. I'm going back to my hometown soon. I just want to say goodbye to you and the past." She no longer carried the arrogance she used to. She looked crushed by something invisible. I checked my watch. 5 minutes. Serena gave a bitter smile. If I hadn't sent that message by mistake, would our ending have been different? But there are no ifs in life. No magic undo button. Everyone pays the price for their choices. Serena, that message was just the trigger. Maybe even the heavens wanted us to break up. Serena shook her head in panic. No, I never really wanted to break up with you. I just thought after 5 years, the passion was gone. Love had faded into something like family. She pressed her lips together, fighting back tears, but they still fell freely. Too long. I let out a cold laugh. Love is always love. When you start calling it family, that seat called love becomes vacant, and someone else fills it. When love turns to kinship, that relationship is already over. And the fact that you saw it that way means you were already tired of it. She sobbed. "I don't know why it turned out this way. It was Mary. She told me. She said, because you're older than me, you have more options. If I acted up, you'd pay more attention to me. But the more I acted out, the worse it got, until I pushed you straight into someone else's arms." Serena was in tears, her words barely coherent. I stared at her without expression, a little bitter. "Was it that I didn't give you enough security, so you had to listen to someone else?" "No, I don't know what possessed me. I truly regret it." I cut her off. "Time's up. Haley and I are getting engaged next month. I'm not generous enough to invite you. Everything between us is over. Please don't disturb our lives again." Serena stood frozen, her face ashen. I raised my hand, signaling the driver to move. As the car passed her, I heard her murmur softly, "I'm sorry," to both you and Haley. The cool night wind blew past, and everything ended, but a new chapter was just beginning. If you like Kitten's story, please follow and like it. Updated every morning at 9 a.m.